Hello, world. Hello, America. I'm wondering if anyone's watching. Is anyone paying attention? Because we've had quite a crazy few years with a pandemic, with an insurrection, with the hearings that had Republicans testifying against other Republicans to prove that their leader knew he was spouting a lie. And still, all these years later, he's still spouting the lie. Over 60 court hearings that proved there was no election stolen, hundreds of hearings from people who were there January 6th who are now behind bars because of their participation in an insurrection, what in essence was an overthrowing of our government, a failed attempt, thank goodness, at the overthrow of our government. And still these people are behind him. And you see I have my Winnie the Pooh shirt on, oh bother, yes. Tomorrow, or whatever day you might be listening to this, November 8th, 2022, you need to bother. If you're a woman, if you're a person of color or minority, if you're 90% of us, I'd say you're earning less than 100 or 200K. You're one of us. And they've been denying you the right to thrive. They've been not paying you enough to barely get by. They've been barely paying you enough to get by. And we've been putting up with it. And it's because of our vote. There's less than 30% of the people who are signed up to vote that actually get up out of their seat, walk out the door to their precinct on election day and vote. It takes you 30 minutes. Most people's precincts are within their neighborhood. Do you know how long it took women suffragettes to fight for the right for women to vote in this country? Do you know how long it took MLK and that movement to fight for people of color to be able to get their right to vote in this country? That just happened in the 60s. It hasn't been that long ago. Have we forgotten already how long it took for people to get their right to vote? And yet you think it's okay to sit at home for that half hour on November 8th. I'm sad. I'm sad because our country is being overrun by election deniers, people who would take away our right to read a book in a country that was built on freedom of speech, people who would take away our right to a woman's autonomy over her own body, all because they believe in a God that everyone should adopt, not in the right to freedom of religion like this country was formed on. The separation of church and state was what this country was formed on. And yes, I believe in God. And I believe in a loving God, not a God who would condemn anyone on this planet. I see a God who's divine and a God whose divinity runs through the veins of every individual on this planet. Every black, every white, every woman, every man, every child, every Muslim, every Jew, every Christian, every atheist, everyone, every unity person on this planet. And I had to write this poem today. It's called The Big Lie, so I'm sharing it with you. For money, greed, and power, is that really why they are so cruel? When they think just saying it makes it so, and that we'll continue to play the fool. When even $15 an hour is now not enough to survive, so we work 2 jobs with no time to thrive. Are we really going to allow the deniers to take the lead when their leaders are the biggest ones filled with hate and greed? Is it really now okay with bashing the other guy in the head? Or is it with sanity and compassion that we now want to be led? When the insurrection hearings proved he knew he was spouting a lie from day one. And how many are guilty for sending hundreds to the Capitol where someone had to die? And hundreds more have lost their freedom for participating on that day. Because if you can't see through the lie, well, then they'll take our democracy away. The freedom of a woman over her right to choose, and all the babies born without loving parents, well, they're the biggest ones to lose. Banning books in America, in what century do we live in? Because if you sit at home and don't vote, then you choose to let the intolerance win. We need to get out and vote and make the blue wave strong. Let them know women and minorities have been disenfranchised for too long. So we stand up and fight because we know it's not about will and about might. More than ever today, it's about doing what's right. When the evidence against you is stacked so high and still you're allowed to spout the lie? Come on, man. When you are defending yourself in court over tax fraud, voter fraud, and top secret document retention, still they choose him as their leader even after his failed insurrection. And as we wait for the DOJ to prove his guilt for just one of those crimes, and we pray it will bring justice and sanity back to our times, and we never have to hear of his gaslighting anymore, and then we allow the left wing and the right wing to work together to let this eagle soar. I'm praying today that the Democrats, that the Republicans, that the independents will all see through the lie. We'll watch just that last insurrection hearing. Listen to the evidence and then make your decision. Do you still want to be a part of this media frenzy, of the Fox News lie, of everyone who is standing up and saying that they believe all this BS? Can't we please get some sanity back in our government and work together? The fact that someone just got bashed in the head with a hammer, really, isn't it enough? Can't we stand up for decency and compassion? Today, November 8th, we really do need to stand up for it, against the intolerance. We need to stand up for unity and for what we truly want to be about, what we want our country and our world to be about from this day forward. Will you stand with me? Will you vote today? Will you please, I'm asking you, let the blue wave be strong. Let them know that 90% of us are awake and alive and aware. And we do want to see the country survive. We want our democracy to stay strong. We did see what happened. The whole world saw what happened. And we're not believing the lie that Fox is spouting. We're not believing the lie that anyone is spouting. Please, if you're with me, get out and vote. Thanks. I love America. And I love the fact that we have freedom of speech. And I love the fact that the media cannot be controlled. It needs to be about truth and justice in America. Those who are most responsible need to be held most accountable. Please, let it be so. So it is.